आंधिया में जोत जगाइण वारा सिंधी ए खाक के सोन बनाइण वारा सिंधी।
Moti Prakash is one of the outstanding poets of Sindhi literature. Born in 1931 at village Daru, situated in the southern part of Sindh, Moti Prakash started contributing to Sindhi literature at a young age. Besides being a poet, his contribution towards other forms of Sindhi literature has been immense. His first book of poetry, Aao the Choriyon Chung, which means Let's Stir the Strings, was published in 1959.
At that time, I was influenced mostly by Urdu poetry. I read out a few lines from my nazm, which is Pareshani. Khamoshi raat je seene te pei baambada paaye, vikodni vane dil je nandhiye kothie ke vairani, वञनि था विसरंदा ऐं दूर थींदा शुगल सभु जॾहिं ख़बर न आहे किथां ज़ाहिर अची थिए थी परेशानी. This describes restless mind of a sensitive poet. When he is in solitude, all problems of the world around him, all problems of life come to him running.
He is one of the living legends in Sindhi literature who has given the Sindhi community an anthem which is sung in almost all Sindhi literary and cultural events.
ए खाक के सोन बनाइण वारा सिंधी। आंधिया में जोत जगाइण वारा सिंधी,
आंधिया में जोत जगाइण वारा सिंधी,
आंधिया में जोत जगाइण वारा सिंधी, ऐ खाक के सोन बनाइण वारा सिंधी, आंधिया में जोत जगाइण वारा सिंधी।
My friends asked me to compose a poem using the title of the weekly Sindhudhara, and that inspired me to write आंधीअ में जोत जगाइण वारा सिंधी ऐं खाक खे सोन बणाइण वारा सिंधी. Leading the light in dark dismay, we Sindhis, turning the dust in the glittering gold, we Sindhis.
आंधीअ में जोत जलाइण वारा सिंधी, मिट्टी मां सोन बनाइण वारा सिंधी. इन पंक्तियों को लेकर के डॉक्टर मोती प्रकाश जी युगों युगों तक सिंधी भाषा, सिंधी अस्मिता, सिंधी संस्कृति का झंडा फहराते रहेंगे.
मिट्टीअ मां सोन बनाइण वारा सिंधी. सिंधी हिकु क़ौम त नाहे, पर जेकॾहिं सिंधी क़ौम हुजे हा त मां जेकर हिन जे हिन गीत खे राष्ट्रगीत चवां हा, सिंधी राष्ट्रगीत चवां हा.
Sindh is a land of secular Sufis. Sufi poets of Sindh have always spread the message of humanity, peace, and brotherhood among all human beings, irrespective of caste, community, and religion. When Moti Prakash was young, he used to hear stories from his uncle.
My uncle was very fond of detective novels. In the evening, he would make us sit and narrate the stories that he had read during the daytime. It was absolutely fantastic way of direction which prompted me to write in that early age of 12 or 13. The most popular magazine for the children at the time was Gulistan. I used to contribute small poems after being inspired by Dada Haridilgi. Then the love for literature grew, and I got in touch with a few like-minded friends of mine, and we started our own children's magazine, Bal Sandesh, which had about 6 or 7 issues released when unfortunately we had to migrate to India after partition.
6 decades ago, Sindhi community was uprooted from its soil and came to India as displaced people in search of new roots. Moti Prakash was just 16 years of tender age when he migrated to India. His family of 10 members lived through sufferance with no source of income.
We were penniless, so much so that getting good meals was not possible on some days.
He and his family didn't know from where the next meal will come. Even his teenager school-going brothers started earning small amount.
My brothers had to go as hawkers to earn their fees.
Moti Prakash's was a great struggle for bare survival during the trying times. Immediately after passing his SSC examination, he tried for a job. Even in those challenging circumstances, his quest to satisfy his creative urge took him to contribute to progressive stream of literature.
After getting in touch with the writers in Bombay and after formation of Sindhi Sahitya Mandal, I met Gobind Mali, I met A.J. Uttam, and my love for literature was revived.
Moti Prakash's poetry started to pour out the message of time when all inequalities, sorrows and sufferings would come to an end, giving place to new, just and equitable system. This was the background when he wrote his first novel, Andhero Ujalo, which means darkness and light.
That novel narrates a story of a young man who finds living conditions very difficult, who finds that he had to struggle for a survival, and that was a darkness he had to come out from. And in that background blossoms love. That is how the novel ended, with a hope that from darkness unto morning.
Sindhi poets have infused secular and romantic spirit into themes and treatment of their poetry. As an allegory and symbol of romantic progressive thought, Moti Prakash's poetry is noted for sharpness of content, profundity of thought, and clarity of expression.
He is one of the very few Sindhi poets who have retained the flavor of Sindhi language, that is Sindhipano, be his diction or his expression in his poetry. And here I totally agree with Vasdev Mohi when he says, Moti seems to be a poet from Sindh, not from Hind.
Dr. Moti Prakash took up teaching as a profession in 1951. As a school teacher in Sindh Cosmopolitan High School, Chembur, Mumbai, and continued his studies side by side. Moti Prakash presented his writings in weekly literary gatherings held at Jai Hind College. He was involved with various literary and cultural activities of Sindhi Sahit Mandal, which gave him inspiration to pursue his literary career to no end. He has successfully tried his hands at short stories too, but his identity remains that of a poet.
मोती प्रकाश एक पोइट तौर तरक्की पसंद दौर सां वाबस्ता रहियो आहे ऐं उन काफ़ी ग़ज़ल ऐं अलॻि अलॻि वायूं ॿिया नज़म ॾिना आहिनि.
Being a romantic poet and person, Moti Prakash fell honorably in love with an eminent Sindhi novelist and story writer, Kamal Prakash. It was love at first sight.
Kala's simplicity in words and in dress, her shyness and her emotional nature, yet down-to-earth attitude, which culminated into bond, lifelong bond, marriage in 1954.
After devoting a number of years as a teacher in Bombay, Dr. Moti Prakash joined All India Radio Bombay.
In 1956, All India Radio Bombay station started broadcast in Sindhi. That was for the first time that Sindhi language was heard on All India Radio.
Being associated with All India Radio Bombay and as in charge of the Sindhi unit AIR Delhi, Moti Prakash produced around 250 plays and features. Moti Prakash was a commentator for Films Division Bombay. He obtained a diploma in dramatics for drama writing and direction. His first full-length Sindhi play after independence, Raat Hik Tufana Ji, A Stormy Night, is his remarkable contribution. Based on this play, a movie was made for which he wrote screenplay, dialogues and lyrics. He also wrote dialogues for Sindhi feature film Nakli Shan and even wrote lyrics and dialogues for Anya Tama Nadri Aya, which means I am still a trot.
These were the three films that were produced in Sindhi, and I was associated with them actively.
Moti Prakash has translated 4 classics of other languages in Sindhi. Kalindi by Tara Shankar Banerjee, Adina, a novel of Tajikistan, Kako Kallu, a translation of 3 Men in a Boat, and Under Secretary, a 3-act Hindi drama by Ramesh Mehta. In this play, he himself played a major role. Moti Prakash had to leave All India Radio due to a lucrative offer to be the founder principal of Indian High School, Dubai.
दुबई में इंडियन हाई स्कूल में मोती प्रकाश उन वक़्तु आयो जंहिं वक़्तु सिर्फ़ु के 100 ॿार हूंदा हुआ, पर मोती प्रकाश जी कोशिश सां उन स्कूल खे 8,000 खां वधीक स्टूडेंट्स मुयसरु कया. इहा हिकु वॾी कामयाबी हुई जेका मोती प्रकाश जे एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन साइड आया करे थी.
After a yeoman service, Dr. Moti Prakash retired as principal of Indian High School, Dubai at the age of 72 after holding the position of rector of the institution.
My stay in Dubai was fruitful according to me. I could contribute a little for the development of an institution in a foreign country, and I am very happy about it.
At this juncture in life, Dr. Moti Prakash decided to spend the rest of his life at Adipur, Kutch. where he is amidst his Sindhi writer friends and he finds solace and peace. He calls this place as Second Sindh.
I wanted to settle down at a place which is peaceful, environmentally suited to my temperament, which should be in the midst of nature and with people, ordinary people around me, people to whom I belong.
At Adipur, Malir is the place where he resides now with his wife Kamal Prakash. This is an exclusive colony for writers and artists, and it is here that he still continues to give vent to his creative urge. Presently, he is associated with Indian Institute of Sindhology and Sadhu Hiranand Naval Rai Sindhi Academy as a member of their boards and trusts. Moti Prakash visited Sindh in the year 1984.
After about 37 years after partition, I visited my place of birth, Daro, a small village in district Thatta now.
Moti Prakash reveals.
When I reached the bus stop of my village, a man of about 80 years came near me and asked me whether I remembered him. I said no. He said, "I am Danura." Oh my God! He was the man who was in a baker in my village, used to come early in the morning and in the evening to beg from my grandmother when I was about 5 or 6 years old. He was the man who had saved my life when a friend, small friend of mine had pushed me in a canal and I was about to drown. He struggled, pulled me out of the water and threw me on the bank of the canal. He had saved my life. He showed me and my wife the whole village and brought me near the door of my house, a small house where I was born. It was a touching scene. Many friends, many classmates, many schoolmates met me, and that touched me to the extent which inspired me to write my travel log. Se sab sandyam saase.
Which means all those cherished in breath, which won him the Sahitya Akademi Award for the year 1988.
When we were coming out, when he got the Sahitya Akademi Award, after getting down from the stage, he directly came to me. He directly came where I was sitting and gave me his trophy and that cash that he got in my hand, and told me that after 3 years you are going to get. And it really happened. I said, how? He said, yes, but my heart is telling me this.
I have been told that ours is possibly only writer couple that is winners of Sahitya Akademi Award.
Whenever I see them in Malir, walking together, taking stroll together, I see them just like pair of birds on a branch of a tree, wooing, cooing, coaxing and cajoling each other. They have faced lot of problems, difficulties in their life, but they have faced them together so gleefully. They have enjoyed the life fully.
Dr. Moti Prakash himself is a very distinct writer of Sindhi. He belongs to generation which was very much involved in the progressive movement along with the movement of Sindhiyat. And I feel that he is the only living writer of that movement who is still active in writing.
After taking birth in a literary family, the first thing you do is form the habit of reading. I started reading at a tender age of 11 and 12. I wrote poetry only in 1982. I started reading it in 1967-68. Effortless writing has definitely come through my father, who himself has been an effortless poet. He belongs to the progressive school of thought. My father's importance lies in the fact that he was instrumental in seeing to it that the Sindhi poetry starts breathing again in an independent India. And he saw to it that myself and my sister studied in Sindhi medium. So we are not English medium students. My sister Sindhu is a keen literature reader, but she is not into writing. She is a computer wizard. She has been into big jobs in India and abroad. And all these qualities are undoubtedly due to my parents.
Apart from the prestigious Sahitya Akademi Award, Dr. Moti Prakash has won many accolades and awards. His book of songs for children, Guladan Jageet, means Songs for Budding Kids, in 1963 won him an award from NCERT. His other significant writings include Chunugavich Chole, that is, Sparks in My Lap, which is a collection of poems. Ditthe Dinhathyam, which means Have Not Seen You for Long, in 1986. Dil Jun Gal Hyun, which means Tales from the Heart, in 1972, which are character sketches. Dr. Moti Prakash has been bestowed with various awards, a few of them being Award for Outstanding Contribution to Sindhi Literature from Akhil Bharat Sindhi Boli and Sahitya Sabha and Maharashtra Sindhi Sahitya Akademi. He was also nominated as the convener of Sindhi Advisory Board and the executive committee member of the Sahitya Akademi for a term of 5 years. A Lifetime Achievement Award of ₹1 lakh and citation was bestowed upon Dr. Moti Prakash by Sindhi Academy, Delhi. Even National Council for Promotion of Sindhi Language recognized Dr. Moti Prakash's contribution and bestowed upon him a Lifetime Achievement Award of ₹51,000 at a function at Ahmedabad along with a citation. This makes Moti Prakash distinct from his contemporary writers.
मोती पाण मोती आहे, पर हिन जे परिवार में हिन जी श्रीमती असांजी दादी कला प्रकाश, हिन जो फर्ज़ंद श्रीकांत सदफ ऐं हिन जी न्याणी सिंधु, इहे सभु हिकिड़ा अमुल मोती आहिनि, इहे सभु हिकिड़ा अमुल दाणा आहिनि जेके पंहिंजी ॿोली, पंहिंजे साहित्य, पंहिंजी संस्कृति ऐं पंहिंजे धरती सां जुड़ियल आहे.
Being an emotional person, Moti Prakash is touched by humanitarian subjects, which he depicts in his writings with intellectual honesty and emotional maturity. Through all the details of his writings, there runs a deep current of humanity and human values. Anything that touches his heart, he expresses in his verses. An infant in the arms of his mother moves him to write a loli, that is, lullaby. Love between two young hearts inspires him to write a romantic ghazal. Dreams of a roadside beggar compels him to compose a poem on a beggar woman. His lyrical set of mind draws him to compose a geet, song, or serenade. Dr. Moti Prakash was bestowed with Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, by Bombay University for his monumental work Sindhi Shay Mein Striya Jo Chit, which means portrayal of women in Sindhi poetry. In the year 2003, Moti Prakash was invited by Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan to participate and present a paper at New York Literary Conference. Moti Prakash is a multifaceted personality. In the span of 50 years, he has authored 16 books on every genre of literature. All through half a century of his literary, cultural and academic activities, this has taken a toll on the health of this mentally strong but physically weak genius. Even in the face of his indifferent health, he has never digressed from his creative pursuits. Having suffered 2 mild heart attacks, he has emerged and re-emerged to return where he belongs to, that is, his creative work. Lately, he has not written much due to his trembling hands, but his spirit and mental faculties are as alive as his anthem of Sindhi community, Andhiya mein jyot jagayan vara Sindhi, which means leading the light in the dark dismay, we Sindhis.
The life has been beautiful to me, and I feel that beauty that life offers is to be absorbed by individuals.
Moti Prakash is yearning to write his autobiography.
Describing various experiences in my life, my struggle, my joyful moments, and the unhappy moments that I've gone through in my life.
Moti Prakash is a living example of never say die attitude of a Sindhi writer. Almighty will bestow all his benevolence upon Moti Prakash. This is the benediction of his fellow seekers. Just a thought of leaving this world moists his eyes, thinking how the world would be when he is not around, when he is not around.
When I'm gone, there'll be clouds scattered over the sky, followed by the spring season. There'll be conch birds who reach the height of the sky, and after the hot weather, there'll be parrots singing on the mango trees. At that time, oh Sindh, I shall be remembering you. I shall be remembering you when I am gone, when I am gone.
And the legend lives on.
आंधिया में जोत जगायण वारा सिंधी